Chair Thomas Masters. Councilperson Terrence Davis.
Here.
Councilperson Julia Botel.
Here.
Councilperson Kashamba Miller Anderson. Chair Pro Tem Lynn Hubbard. Chair Tanya Davis Johnson.
Here.
City Manager Karen Hoskins.
Here.
City Clerk Claudine Anthony is present. However, Staff Member Deborah Hall will be sitting in on my behalf. Assistant City Attorney Lina Busby.
Here.
You may proceed.
A moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilwoman Botel. Members of the public shall be given a total of 3 minutes to speak on all items listed on the consent agenda. Any person who would like to speak on consent agenda items, please fill out a public comment card located on the table directly outside of the council chambers and give it to the staff prior to the adoption of the agenda. Madam Manager, are there any additions, deletions, or substitutions?
No, ma'am.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Davis, you recognize.
I didn't get a chance to provide the information, but I'm doing a turkey with tots with the local daycares in the community tomorrow. I wanted to do an addition for the turkeys of $3,400, about with the backup provided at the time, which would be the information for the turkeys from Cheney Brothers and what their care locations and purpose.
So you have that document ready for us to review now?
No, I said I don't have it. I said I can have it to you first thing tomorrow. Pending that everything's correct.
And who's the agency that this is going to?
This is Cheney Brothers to purchase for the turkeys for tots. I can wait till December, the next meeting.
To present the documentation?
Yes.
But you want us to approve it tonight?
I can wait till then. I'm just letting you know that.
So you're saying are you doing it in December?
No, it's tomorrow.
You're doing it tomorrow?
Yes, ma'am.
So you already have a check to go and purchase?
Yes. No, I don't have a check to go and purchase. That's not, no, I don't have a check to go and purchase. I don't have a check. I was gonna use my city credit card to do so through my promotion account to do it, if that was the case. I just use my community benefits to pay the funds. We haven't had any meetings, so it's been very difficult to get something approved if we don't have a meeting. So that's been the biggest problem I had. Hasn't been the city council meeting for me to get this approved.
Well, if my concern would be following the proper procurement process, and if that is a permissible use of the P card for the purchase of these items, and Mr. Sherman is there and can vouch that that is a permissible use, then this body should probably vote on it. If it is not, then we probably should not be voting on it.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner, let the record reflect that Councilwoman Miller Anderson is on the dais. You recognize?
I missed the beginning. Is this a community benefits or coming from?
Community benefits.
It's a community benefits.
But it's for who? Cheney Brothers?
Yes, the purchase of the turkeys.
But who is the nonprofit organization?
That was my question.
Okay. The City of Riviera Beach is a nonprofit of itself. As the purchase is through the office of Councilman Davis for the local daycares, which is Turkey for Tots. As parents go and pick their children up, they receive a turkey as they pick their children up from school. So either it's a public purpose, and the person that's purchasing it is the local nonprofit, which is the city is the local nonprofit through my office. There's nothing illegal about that. We've done this on numerous occasions. Many years has been said that Thomas done it. Many others have done it. This is nothing new to the table. If we could have had a meeting prior to this, I would have put it on the agenda. But unfortunately, we haven't had any meetings for me to present any information for you, for the council to consider.
But you also mentioned about promotional. What about promotion?
No, I was explaining to her. Typically, when you're promoting the city, you're doing things saying on behalf of the city. Here we are, Councilman Dale. Sometimes you do certain things like this, where you go purchase something with a hey, on behalf, you do a flyer behalf of the
Right, I
council.
get that,
Yeah.
but is that what you're doing, promotional or the community benefits?
Typically, what I typically do, I will swipe the credit card. If I can get the community benefit in time, I can appoint it directly to the community benefit. If it's not there in time, I have to go to the promotion account as a backup and then reimburse it. But we have a meeting that came up, which is tonight, so I got time to go ahead and do that and get it directly out of the promotion account.
So there's a reimbursement?
Well, we have time to do it, but there's not a reimbursement necessary because I can actually get this put into an account if this is approved tonight, so I can go ahead and get this done tomorrow. But once there's money set aside into the account, it has to be spent on
Okay.
something.
So it is promotion, you are attempting to use your promotional dollars
Yes,
for
ma'am.
this.
Yes, ma'am.
But how then do we reconcile P-card to promotional?
That isn't-
Well, not promotional, I'm sorry, is it community benefits or is it promotional? We just need
Be best
The
clarification.
purpose of this item is to use the community benefits. If you do not approve the community benefits, I will be required to go as a backup plan for the promotion account.
Okay,
That's all I'm
so
saying.
I see your aid here. Can we get the community benefits form just brought back upstairs and we can just approve it?
Okay.
But don't we usually go through a department, or no?
We typically have gone through, with community benefits, it have been nonprofit organizations, but Mr. Davis has in the past done creative ways, he's created ways in order to utilize those dollars. I say as long as I'm asking Mr. Sherman if this is a permissible process.
Are we backtracking, or is this something you're going to do afterwards?
Well, we were in additions and
No,
deletions and.
not that, no, I'm saying
brought
the
matter
money.
up.
Good evening, Randy Sherman. Yeah, we've allowed this before. I believe
Yes.
Councilman Thomas used to use part of his community benefits to pay for his turkey giveaway. He also did fundraising, to support and add to the funds, but he did use part of his community benefits.
So it's just a matter of getting a community benefits request in order to
In
do the
order.
$3,400. Okay,
Correct.
we can, once you get that, we should be fine.
That's why I said in the beginning, I said, with the permitted that the community benefit is filled out and permit before, I said in the very opening part of the statement, with the understanding that will be filled out properly and signed with the proper documentation. If that's not done, the account will not be appropriated the funds.
I have a question.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor, you recognize?
Yeah, just to make it clear. So you use your credit card to purchase because you may not get a check from community benefits in time to purchase it. So once the check comes through from community benefits, then you'll reimburse your promotion account? Is that what
No, what will happen is,
help me
once
understand?
approved the amount,
Okay,
once the church is a purchase, that amount will go towards that account that this money is going into. I'm not taking a check.
okay.
It takes a while, just go into a special account, and then once you do your card, you use those funds for that purpose.
Okay.
Saving the trees, saving paper, saving time.
Councilwoman Botel, you had a question?
I just want to be clear that I understand the process. My understanding was that community benefits were to be earmarked to specific 501c3s. So you're saying that's not necessarily the case?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Davis, you recognize?
years ago, just to tell you some historical what happened, I think it's back in 2011,
May
2012.
I stop you for a moment? Let me
No,
just. No.
people need to know the background to how it got to
I
this
understand that, Mr. Davis, but we were in the agenda,
Okay.
and you just
Madam Chair, no
threw
problem.
that in, so I would like to take this in the appropriate space.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any additions, deletions, or substitutions? Disclosures by council? Motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly seconded. Madam Clerk?
Chairperson Davis Johnson,
Yes.
Pro Tem Hubbard, Councilperson Miller Anderson,
Yes.
Councilperson Botel,
Yes.
Councilperson Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Unanimous vote with Councilperson Hubbard out.
All matters listed under this item are considered to be routine, and action will be taken by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a councilperson so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Are there any items to be pulled by mayor and council? Motion to adopt the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's It's been motioned and properly second.
Chair Davis Johnson, we do have one public comment card
Let's see.
from Bonnie Larson.
Meeting just wouldn't be complete, would it? Number 1 on the consent agenda. I've spoken about this several times, and the resolution reads, change, or the city manager may approve change orders up to 10%. Again, this document does not specify how many change orders. It can be 10%, 10%, 10%. There's no specification here up to a total amount of so-and-so for the entire number of change orders. It's got to be worded somehow so that you can't just do 10, 10, 10, 10 endlessly. That needs to be done on here. Number 2, we're talking about professional services,
Right.
Al-Qaeda and FAY, they're the lobbyists. And it says here we're going to pay them, again, $5,000 per month, and reimbursement for reasonable expenses. Again, no limitation on reasonable expenses. And what are reasonable expenses? He's getting $5,000 a month. What other expenses does he have? Needs to be specific on here. There's no end to the money situation here. It just says reasonable expenses. And number 4, I've asked this question before. When we have a lawsuit and it's written on the agenda, why are the numbers of the lawsuit, the case numbers, why are they always X'd out? It should be public information. But on these agendas, it's always X'd out. Why do we do that? Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Madam Manager.
the 10% is just 10% on the total contract amount. So whatever the total contract amount, it would be 10%. And then as it relates to the contract for the federal lobbyist, reasonable expenses may be travel, copies, telephone calls, reimbursement for those type expenses.
Madam Attorney, would you like to address why the case number is identified in the manner in which it is?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you.
Those X's are not Xing out any particular numbers. That is included, that is the case number issued by the clerk of court. That's the actual case number. You can put it into the clerk of court, and that's the case that it will come up. Exactly. And those last 2 digits or numerical, the MB, that indicates the courtroom that it's assigned to. You're welcome.
Thank you. Any person who would like to speak on an agenda item, please fill out a public comment card and give it to staff prior to the item being presented to the City Council for discussion. Members of the public will be given 3 minutes to speak on each regular agenda item. In no event will anyone be allowed to submit a comment card and speak on an agenda item after the resolution is read or the item is considered. Public comments shall begin at 7:30 p.m. unless there is no further business of the City Council, which in that event it shall begin sooner. In addition, if an item is being considered at 7:30 p.m., then comments from the public shall begin immediately after the item has been concluded. Any person who would like to speak during public comments, please fill out a public comment card located on the table directly outside of the council chambers and give it to the staff before the public comment section is announced. Any petitions and communications for filing? No. Awards and presentations? Proclamation from the mayor?
Proclamation from the Office of the Mayor proclaiming November 10th through 18, 2018, Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week.
I'm going to ask the Chief of Staff to read this proclamation as it relates to hunger and homelessness. We must continue to do all that we can to effectively address hunger and homelessness in the city of Riviera Beach, and the mayor's office is constantly working with other agencies almost on a day-to-day basis as relates to feeding programs and also helping the homelessness in our city. So we'll ask, having said that, Chief of Staff to proclaim at this time.
Proclamation from the Office of the Mayor, City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, declaring November 10th through the 18th, 2018, as Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. Whereas people from all walks of life, including individuals, families with children, employed and unemployed workers, elderly residents, veterans, disabled individuals, and youth, are impacted by hunger and homelessness at some point in their lives. Either they themselves are directly impacted or may be indirectly so because they know someone or know of someone who is. And whereas the purpose of this proclamation is to educate the public about the many reasons people are hungry and or homeless, including the shortage of affordable housing for very low-income residents in this city and throughout Palm Beach County. We must also encourage support for homeless assistance service providers, as well as community service opportunities for students and school service organizations. And whereas the theme of the 2018 National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week is focused on bringing America home by eliminating barriers to accessing essential services such as affordable housing, affordable health care, affordable child care, education, and the cost of basic necessities that often contribute to hunger, food insecurity, and people experiencing homelessness on any given night in Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, and across this state and the nation. And whereas the intent of Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week is consistent with the activities of the Homeless Advisory Board, Homeless Coalition, Homeless and Housing Alliance, Palm Beach County Food Bank, the Lord's Place, Gulfstream Goodwill Industries, Adopt a Family, and many other service providers in Palm Beach County. The mission, however, is to curb the hunger and eliminate the need for all of the aforementioned agencies in this city, across this county, and throughout Florida.
The mayor, the office of the mayor will continue some of the programs that we're dealing with directly from the office of the mayor, such as the Office of Veterans Affairs that's run out of the mayor's office to address homelessness as it relates to veterans. We have many veterans who are sleeping under bridges in our city, and those who are suffering from different other conditions as well. The Office of the Veterans Affairs has been very involved in partnering with the Veterans Administrative Hospital and others to help our residents who are veterans in this city. And we'll continue working hand in hand with the Lord's Place and the Urban League and the Goodwill Industries as we come together to address these issues, as well as to do all that we can to bring some comfort or some amount of resolution as best as we can. So therefore, be it resolved that I, Bishop Thomas A. Masters, Mayor of the City of Riviera Beach, Florida, by the power that has been vested in me by the residents of this great city, do hereby proclaim the week of November the 10th through the 18th, November the 10th through the 18th, 2018, in the City of Riviera Beach, and is hereby declared Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week in our city, along with the county and other cities that are doing the same. In witness, therefore, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the City of Riviera Beach to be affixed on the 7th day of November, 2018 AD. Thomas A. Masters, Mayor. Claudine L. Anthony, CMC, City Clerk. Thank you, Madam Chair, for this one. It's in the record. We'll make sure it gets to the proper people for this.
Thank you. Proclamation from the, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk.
Madam Chair, before we move on to the next proclamation, we still have an open motion on the floor for the consent agenda. If it is your pleasure to take a vote.
Absolutely, I thought that we did that.
Chairperson Davis Johnson, this is for the consent agenda. We had a motion, but we didn't take a vote on the consent agenda.
Yes.
Okay. Councilperson Miller Anderson.
Yes.
Councilperson Botel.
Yes.
Councilperson Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Unanimous vote. Proclamation from the Office of the Mayor posthumously honoring the life and legacy of our local legend and hero, retired Judge Edward Rogers.
Thank you, Madam. I had asked Councilwoman Lynn Hubbard to assist me in this proclamation. However, she wasn't feeling well and she's not able to be here. So in all respect to Councilwoman Hubbard, I will respectfully ask that we will delay this proclamation to the next reading, because she was the person that was very much involved in the life of Judge Rogers during his last days, making sure that he went from place to place, and she offered much assistance to him. So I thought it would be befitting to have her a part of this proclamation, so I'd rather wait. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Proclamation from the Office of the Mayor proclaiming December 1st, 2018, World AIDS Day.
Again, I will ask the Chief of Staff to read the proclamation at this time.
Proclamation from the Office of the Mayor, City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida. Whereas an estimated 36.7 million people worldwide are living with HIV, with another approximate 1.8 million new infections occurring each year, or about 5,000 new infections every day. And whereas worldwide 30% of people infected with the disease don't know their status, and only 57% of persons living with HIV are currently accessing life-saving antiretroviral therapy. And whereas the global spread of HIV infection and AIDS necessitate a worldwide effort to increase communication, education, and action to stop the spread of HIV. And whereas the Joint United Nations Program of HIV/AIDS observes the first day of December each year as World AIDS Day, and leads and inspires the world to achieve its shared vision of zero new HIV infections, zero discrimination of people infected, and a vision of zero AIDS-related deaths. And whereas the 90-90-90 ambitious global plan to help end the AIDS epidemic has set its targets for 2020, that's 90% of all people living with AIDS will know their HIV status, 90% of all people with diagnosed HIV will receive sustained ART, and 90% of all people receiving ART will have viral suppression and longer life. And whereas in Palm Beach County, more than 8,400 persons are living with HIV, and about one new infection occurs every single day, there is hope in that the Palm Beach County HIV Community Prevention Partnership and the Palm Beach County HIV Care Council, through its partners, are working together to renew HIV/AIDS awareness and to expand and strengthen the local effort to stop the spread of HIV in Palm Beach County on World AIDS Day.
One of the things that is important to note as we continue to address HIV/AIDS, that we do have 2 new medical facilities. Councilman Terrence Davis and I attended the Morehouse Medical Seminar for a week. And one of the things that was pointed out is the huge disparity among African Americans and other minorities as relates to medical treatment in our community. So we continuously work on this disparity. So having 2 medical facilities we are very proud of. One, the Riviera Beach, urgent care, Thomas Masters there in Riviera Beach, and also we have a brand new facility that we cut the ribbon for 2 days ago that we've never had in our city, dialysis. So we're pleased that we have these facilities that will help us bridge the disparity gap and also perhaps give treatment and medical attention to this situation that we are addressing tonight. So now therefore be it resolved that I, Bishop Thomas A. Masters, the mayor of the city of Riviera Beach, Florida, by the power vested in me by the residents of this great city, do hereby proclaim December the 1st, 2018, as World AIDS Day. And this is in conjunction, as was read previously, with the United Nations declaration as well. I encourage all residents and others of this city to take part in activities and observances designed to increase awareness and understanding of HIV/AIDS as a global challenge. And I also urge residents to join the global effort to prevent the further spread of HIV/AIDS. In witness, therefore, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the city of Riviera Beach to be affixed on this 19th day of November, 2000 AD. Attests Thomas A. Masters, Mayor, Claudine L. Anthony, CMC, City Clerk. And Ms. Shirley is here to receive this, which you also announced about the march that we're having in our city for those that would like to participate in the march.
Jackie is doing. Okay. On behalf of the Palm Beach County HIV Care Council, on behalf of the Palm Beach County Ryan White Program, the Ryan White Program for Palm Beach County provides medical services, support services to people living with HIV in Palm Beach County. The Palm Beach County HIV Care Council is a planning body that prioritizes and allocates about $20 million each year for HIV/AIDS services in Palm Beach County. And what we do is to make sure that people who are living with HIV, which is called patient care, and people who need to be tested, which we call prevention, to be able to get into care and to get into, to have services. And one thing I want to make sure that you understand is that when they talk about viral suppression, that means that if a person is undetectable, they cannot pass the virus to another individual. So what the county is trying to do is to make sure that we have at least a 90 to 100% viral suppression among those people who are HIV positive. And on behalf of those agencies, we'd like to thank you, the mayor, the council, the citizens of Riviera Beach for this proclamation. Thank you. Know the date of the march? I think it's December 6th or 7th, okay, but there are some flyers outside on the. Okay, we'll make sure it's announced. Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. You can see that progress, a lot of progress, is being made as it relates to viral suppression. We're very thankful to God for the advancement in the medical field. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Miller-Anderson, you recognize?
In regards to the march, those flyers that are out, I believe it has my name on it, and I just wanted to be on the record that I did not authorize my name to be on the flyers. 2, I was not aware of it, of the event at all. So I don't know, it says sponsored by the mayor, myself, I think Commissioner Nearing from West Palm. The only thing that I could think of in terms of me being a part of it or being a sponsor is maybe through a community benefit for the Haiti Coloria organization, but that's not listed on that flyer. The way the flyer is presented is as if the people that I just mentioned, such as myself, are the ones that are having this event, and that is not the case. I'm not having this event, nor am I sponsoring this event, other than maybe by way of a community benefit that was given 5-6 months ago. But I was not aware of this particular event, don't have any association with it, and I did not give authorization for my name to be on there. However, I do support the cause, so that's not the issue for me, but I just think that in order for my name to be on something, I need to be aware of it, and prior authorization needed to have been given before that happened. Thank you.
I just want to be clear. The Palm Beach County HIV Care Council, the Ryan White program for Palm Beach County, is in no way associated with the march at all. So I just brought the flyers because they were there at the health department today.
Right.
So I know that the young lady who does it through the cholera program, that she was passing them out at the meeting today. So I'm not sure of her affiliation with the city of Riviera Beach or any of that. I just passed them out because they were given to us to pass out.
Okay.
So I have no idea in terms of Palm Beach County or in terms of the Planning Council.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Public comment shall begin at 7:30 unless there is no further business of the City Council, which in that event, it shall begin sooner. In addition, if an item is being considered at 7:30 p.m., then comments from the public shall begin immediately after the item has been concluded. Any person who would like to speak during public comments, please fill out a public comment card located on the table directly outside of the council chambers and give it to the staff before the public comment section is announced. Public comment cards.
The acceptance of public comment cards is now closed at this time. We do have one, Carol Marshall.
Ms. Marshall, public comment.
Madam Chairperson and Council, thank you for letting me speak with all the heavy duties that you have. My comments may be a little frivolous, and I hope not, because they do impact your citizens and your children of Riviera Beach. There has been a push to make the Phil Foster Park into a sort of a sanctuary, no-take zone, and I am opposed to that. I will tell you why, and that's because I talk to your children, I snorkel there a lot, I've loaned your children my masks and allowed them to see what's going on under the water, and they're just absolutely fascinated. Occasionally, some of the fathers with their children will collect little fish and take them home, put them in an aquarium. Under the proposal, that might be against the law, and that would be very serious because everybody knows all of the naturalists start out as children. And even though it sounds like it's a good thing, oh, let's, make this a no-take zone, I just wanted to let you know my opinion. Whether there's anything you can do about it, I don't know, but I know that there is going to be an FWC meeting in St. Augustine on December 16th, I believe, 13th and 14th, and also in Gainesville in February. So, just consider if there's anything you can do, if there's anything you want to do, but I did want to let you know my feelings on this. And, your children are so bright, and they just like fish, and they like crabs, and, I would not like to see them arrested for taking them home.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Mayor, can I?
Yes, would you stop in the mayor's office? I would like to work with you on your initiative, and I agree with you. children have enjoyed it, and they should not be arrested or cited. So maybe we can work that out, although the county is in charge of, as you know, of the park, but certainly we can join you in your advocacy, because I fully support it. So see my chief of staff, she's somewhere around here.
Okay, thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome, Mr. Mayor. Are there any other cards?
Oh, it is, okay.
Ms. Larson is raising her hand. Do you have a card for her?
I don't have a card for her.
Okay.
I only had a card for consent agenda for Ms. Larson.
All right. Continue on the agenda.
Okay. Reappointment of 3 members to the Library Advisory Board.
Madam
Madam
Chair,
Manager?
we have Ms. Amy coming up from the library. She's the Assistant Library Director.
Good evening. We are presenting this evening to just request that these members be reconsidered for continuation of their service to the City of Riviera Beach as members of the advisory board and helping us in the library to focus on certain things such as the construction of the potential new library and for policy and so on and so forth.
There's a slate of 3 names that have been provided. We can vote on them as one slate or individually, whichever the preference of the board is. We have Ms. LaWanda B. Williams, Ms. Irene Jackson, and Mr. Delano Allen for reappointment to the Library Advisory Board. Is there a motion to approve all 3?
So moved.
Yes.
You give a second?
Yes.
It's been motioned and properly second. Were there any public comment cards?
There are no public comment cards for this item.
Madam Clerk?
Chairperson Davis Johnson,
Yes.
Councilperson Miller Anderson,
Yes.
Councilperson Botel,
Yes.
Councilperson Davis. Motion is approved with Councilperson Davis out. Next item is a request for a special meeting on the proposed charter review amendments to be held Monday, November 26, 2018.
For the record, I have received a response. There is no CRA meeting on the 28th, so therefore we could have this session on the 28th if all calendars are clear. Madam Manager?
Madam Chair, this item is to request a special meeting on the proposed charter amendments. You would be adopting the amendments on first reading. If the board is not available on November 26th, then we can have the meeting on November 28th. That's if you all are available and Mr. Walpan is available also. Are you available, Mr. Walpan? Okay, all right. So we will
Miller
advertise.
Anderson, you good?
Yeah, I thought we had a CRA meeting, so yeah.
We don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, I'm available for that.
We're available.
So that special meeting will occur on Wednesday, November 28th at 6 o'clock, is that right? 6? Okay.
So we will only have a utility meeting on the 26th, is that correct? Or are we going to switch both to the 28th?
We just have the closed executive session
On
for the Utilities District on the
26th.
26th.
We need a motion to direct the city clerk to notice the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and properly seconded, Madam Clerk.
Chairperson Davis Johnson,
Yes.
Councilperson Miller Anderson, Councilperson Botel,
Yes.
unanimous vote.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Discussions by the city attorney?
Oh, we're going to start with her. Okay.
Yeah, well,
No, Madam Chair.
Actually, yeah, that's all that it has on here, but discussion by city manager.
Madam Chair, I have a couple of items.
Okay.
The first item is earlier this month, I sent an email to the city council requesting that the city offices be closed on December 24th, which is Christmas Eve, and was waiting on a response from the entire board to okay that closing of city offices on December 24.
That's a great idea.
That's fine. Okay. Moving on to the next item is the city attorney search. I sent an email on Friday giving you an update. At this point, we have 7 candidates that you all will be interviewing for city attorney. You all agreed on the December 1st date as the date of the interviews, and I'm not sure what interview process you had considered, but I wrote up some potential process that you may want to consider. Is strictly, up to you. If you want to do just a generic interview, and then at the December 5th meeting, you decide who your final candidate would be. The process, as I stated, there are 7 candidates for the position of city attorney. We have approximately 4 that are from out of state or out of town and would require hotel accommodations and travel accommodations for Friday night and Saturday night. And the city would provide per diem for 2 days for those candidates traveling from out of town, and the city would reimburse for reasonable travel expenses incurred. The following schedule is proposed for this 2-day activity. On Friday, November 30th, if you would like, we could give the candidates a tour of the city starting at 1:30. At 2, we'll of course have a guided tour by city personnel. 3:30 to 5:30, a break. Take the candidates to the hotel to prepare for the evening and have a reception from 6 to 7:30 with the mayor, city council members, department heads, and city residents. And this is, if you approve. And then on Saturday, December 1st, 7:30 a.m., start with light breakfast. 8:15, have a briefing with the city council members by HR representative or facilitator on the guidelines that should be followed for the interview process. The city council can take mental notes. Each candidate will be allowed 50 minutes for the interview. A timer will be present to make sure that each candidate received the 50-minute allotment. Staff is recommending 5 questions, but if you want to expand it or do less than 5, the city staff is willing to meet with each city council person to develop the interview questions, or if you want staff to develop the interview questions, we can do that. And then at the regular city council meeting on December 5th, you make your discussion, deliberation on the city attorney position. We're asking that all candidates report to the city manager's conference room not less than 30 minutes before the scheduled interview. The first interview will start at 9 a.m. here in the city council chambers, with the second at 10, 11. We'll break for lunch at 12, and then start back at 12:45. So I'm not sure, what process you would like to have. We can discuss it now, or
Madam Chair?
Are there any comments or questions with regards to the process?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, you recognize?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just wondering, there wasn't a way to get this number down rather than 7? It couldn't got down to 3 or 4. Are we gonna talk to 7? Is there a reason why that number is so high for this? These are 7 finalists. I would take it. It could not have been a lower number, Madam Manager.
And this is no disrespect to the city council, but it took almost a month and a half to get it down to the 7. So I know we were working against a timeline of, I believe, January 11th, when the current city manager's contract expires. So I did not want to delay the process any further, but if it's the city council's direction to eliminate and get it down to 3, or whatever your desire may be, just let me know.
I'm not opposed to, I know that we had a glitch in the request to close out the advertisement. We are now at 7. I believe that we are at 7 as a result of the 2 applications that came in after we indicated that we would no longer accept them. So unless this body is in agreement to reduce it, I'm fine with the 7, and we can move forward.
I'd rather keep it going.
Yeah, we will interview the 7.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Mayor, you recognize?
I'm not opposed to, Lauren, I was just asking why and how we got to 7 instead of a lower number. I want to find out, I've always opposed this, but I've never questioned it before, but is it the general policy of cities to pay for folk to come in and be interviewed? Yes. Does anyone know that? Is that generally pretty much?
It is, we do on Palm Beach County side.
Okay. And also, Miss Attorney, final question. If any board member has any personal relationships with any of the 7, should they recuse themselves from the process?
No, they don't have to recuse themselves.
Should they have to state it on the record?
I'll look into that, but I don't think there's anything in our charter that indicates that.
Okay, just as far as ethics, would you look into that? Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Madam Chair. That's all of my questions.
Any other questions or comments with regards to the process that has been laid out by the city manager?
Okay. Next is the city manager search. On Friday, I sent a memo stating that we have the 3 finalists, and just wanted to know how you would like for staff to proceed.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Mayor, you recognize?
I would prefer for staff not to proceed, and I'll tell you why. We're within a couple months, 2 or 3 months before the election. We are a lame duck council, if I can use that term liberally. I think it would not be in the best interest of the city to try to select a city manager before an election that may or may not cause the city manager to work with people that he didn't, that were not, not here at the time to work with possibly a new council. If we have gone this far, I don't see any reason why we would have to proceed with this election knowing that the election is coming, knowing that there's a possibility that things could change up here, knowing that there may be someone else out there, others that may be interested after the election to apply. So I'm just speaking for me, and my aunt used to say me, myself, and I. That is how I feel. Secondly, I don't think it would, if this council feels that Ms. Hoskin has done a good job in that position, then they should also feel that it would not create any undue hardship on this city to wait until the election and allow a new council to proceed and make that decision rather than a lame duck. It reminds me of what we have seen on the national level, where Supreme Court Justice, there was a rush to put him on, and we've seen the results of an election where one party trumped. I don't want to use that word, but that's what happened. Trumped the other party, and as a result, whenever there's a lame duck Congress and there's just weeks before or months before an election, generally these kind of decisions that could have a tremendous impact on the nation are postponed until there is an election, unless the other party rushes it through and gets it done before the midterm elections, which we saw an effort for that to happen. So looking at the national model, I feel that this process should not go forward. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome, Mr. Mayor. My position has not changed. We still operate under the responsibility of moving the business forward. I am a vote of one. I stand firm in my position with moving on with the slate of 3. Any other comments? Any other comments?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman Botel, you recognize.
I think I've made my position on this clear. I don't intend to support a candidate prior to the election. I think that we have done a fine job of having Ms. Hoskins serve in our capacity as city manager. Up until this time, it's only a matter of a couple of months between now and the election, and I think we can continue to have her serve in that capacity.
Thank you. Any comment?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Miller Anderson, you recognize.
Well, as you know, I didn't submit any names because I did not support the slate. However, I did say that if you all were going to move forward, if the majority was moving forward, then that would be fine. I do as well think that we should not try to do this at this time, although I'm not trying to hold Ms. Hoskins hostage to the position. And I'm not sure of where her feelings are in regards to staying or leaving the position. But I do think it unfortunately has drug out to this point where it has gotten very close to the election. Of course, no one knows which way an election will go, but I do believe that that is why we have had such a small pickings to choose from, because of the atmosphere, the climate, and current council. And I just think that given the election coming up in a few months, who knows, we may get better results of people that may choose to come should we open it back up, or, you know, we'll know where people stand. So I'm not, I didn't support it from the beginning, and I haven't changed my position on it.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor.
I ask for a motion at this time that this process be delayed based upon there's a consensus. There seems to be 2 council people who feel that this process should be delayed after the election. I know how to count to 3, and I know how to count to 2. So I ask for a motion from this council to delay this process until after the election.
I make a motion that we wait until after the election to hire a new city manager.
I will second it, but I have a question of Ms. Hoskins. Ms. Hoskins, Madam Chair,
You recognize Councilwoman Miller Anderson.
is this something that you would be willing to stay in until that time? Or what are your plans?
Madam Chair.
Madam Manager.
And first of all, I would like to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to serve the city and the residents. It has been an experience. However, and I've been in this position for a year. Wow, how fast time flies. And I know my contract says until a city manager is hired. However, if you are looking to keep me in this position past, I would say, you know, up until March, then I would definitely be looking at changing contract language, or would like to have my contract language changed as it relates to compensation.
Fair enough. Okay. Madam Chair, there's a motion on the floor.
Did you get your question answered? Are you satisfied? Yeah, I mean,
All right.
she
Madam Clerk?
sounds as long as her contract is revisited.
Madam Clerk? Chair Davis Johnson?
No.
Councilperson Botel?
Yes.
Councilperson Miller Anderson?
Yes.
The motion passes with Chairperson Davis Johnson dissenting.
Madam Chair, I have one more item. I would like to request a closed executive session on December 5th at 5:30. This is regarding the Scripps lawsuit. Those that would be in attendance would be Attorney Glenn Torsivia, City Attorney Andrew DeGraffenwright, myself, and the City Council. If you are available at 5:30 on December 5th.
That would be fine for me.
Yes. Okay. So, should I announce it again, or are we good?
Madam Chair,
Madam Attorney.
I believe we already previously noticed this at the last meeting, if I'm correct.
Did we?
I have it in my calendar.
Okay, all right.
We did.
All right,
So
great.
we're all prepared.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Attorney.
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Any comments from the Attorney's Office?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm
Any
sorry.
council-
Happy Thanksgiving.
Any committee reports from council? Statements by the mayor and council, starting with the mayor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for the public to know, there are two suspension documents on my desk. Both of them relate to department heads, and we will be considering those two within the next few days. Next thing, Madam Attorney, I need to ask you this.
Yes, sir.
As relates to the charter, the so-called charter proposed amendment, and that's what I'm going to call it, because I think most of them are very unfair, very unjust, and very off base. However, having said that, do you know the number of ordinances that will be on the ballot if passed by the council? Is it 8?
Was it 9 or 8?
Is it 10?
10?
I think there's 10.
So
Items to be voted on by council.
there has to be 2 readings. The first reading will be on the date that is set. The mayor cannot exercise the veto power until after the second meeting. And I can exercise, which I will, providing there are 2 opposing votes on whichever ones get 2 votes to be no.
Mayor,
Yes.
will you please memorialize your question? That way I can direct it to our attorney who's exclusively for the charter amendments, Mr. Walpin. He was here earlier this evening, and I know he had to leave.
But let me just say for the record, I will do that.
Thank you.
But just for
Thank
the
you, Mayor.
record, if there are 10 ordinances, the mayor will exercise the veto power on each one. If there are 2 votes, we're not going to do it unless there are 2 votes against it, and I'm sure there will be 2, hopefully and preferably. And then it will take another meeting to override the mayor's veto on the ones that I veto. The second thing, the resolution that was passed tonight that we delay, that cannot come back unless someone from the prevailing side bring it back. Is that true?
The resolution in
we
which you
passed
delayed the city manager,
Correct.
the hiring of the city
It
manager.
would only take one of those 2 individuals that were on the prevailing side to bring it back if there was a need to.
I believe that's correct, and
Which-
I'll make sure that I follow up with you in writing so that you have
Which I
a very
hope they
clear
won't.
understanding of it.
Which I hope they won't. Thank you, Madam Chair. Happy Thanksgiving to all. I do have access to a few turkeys. I don't want to announce it because I don't like giving some and can't give all. But if it's an extreme case where someone just doesn't have anything to eat, please contact the office of the mayor and we'll try to help you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I am
Councilwoman
pleased.
Patel, you recognize. A reminder that there's a career fair in partnership with the Marine Industries Association of Palm Beach County from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on November 28th, sponsored by the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity over at the what's now known as the Judge Edward Rogers Center. If anybody's interested in working in the marine industry, they're looking to hook you up with a position. And happy Thanksgiving.
Councilwoman Miller Anderson.
Just a question for the community benefits that Mr. Davis gave us for the second page. Just want to make sure that it is corrected where it says, I, Terrence Davis, hereby certify that donation to Thanksgiving turkey for tots, that section will be corrected to say City of Riviera Beach, District 5. And I don't have any comments other than happy Thanksgiving again.
Happy Thanksgiving. There being no further business, we stand adjourned.